us together. The choices here are as plentiful as the orchards are fruitful. We are Wenatchee.
And it's down the road we go. Happy Tuesday, 11th day of July, 2023. Dan Kuntz, this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. What a difference 24 hours makes. It was raining yesterday after the lightning overnight Sunday into Monday. It was crazy weather yesterday. Now we're right back to where we're supposed to be. It's sunny, it's mild, it's 63 degrees, lots of sunshine, a little wind today. We're going to have the latest on the Baird Springs fire when we get to the news. Not a lot of changes. The big thing is Highway 28 has now reopened. It was closed for quite some time, certainly after the fire broke out, right at the Grant County, Douglas County border down there at the Trinidad grade and climbing up the Trinidad grade. The highway kind of acted as a natural fire barrier. It was closed. Now it's open again, so you can get between Wenatchee and the basin on Highway 28. Now it has reopened. They did that about midnight. We'll have the latest information on that fire when we get to the news. And there's a little more news to get to than just that. We will have that for you as well. Hope you watched the All-Star Home Run Derby last night. I did. Julio Rodriguez put on a show. He didn't win it, but he put on a show. We'll have highlights of that. No Apple Sox to talk about. Didn't play yesterday, but we'll preview their Apple Sox and their 6-game road trip. 3 games in Nanaimo, 3 games in Victoria. We'll have that when we get to sports. We'll talk to Joel Norman a little bit. In the back half of the program, Dave Tosh, our buddy Dave, the executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Lunch for $5, folks. It's open to anybody. Dave will be my guest in the back half of the program. We'll have the long-term prediction for next week from the Climate Prediction Center. Here's a heads up, sunny and hot, and everything else you need to get your day going. It's 2 minutes after the hour. Let's not waste any time. Let's go. After yesterday's rather dramatic weather, had a little bit of everything yesterday, but believe it or not, up at Pangbourne, where they measure these things, we only got about 1/10 of an inch of rain. Of course, there was isolated thunderstorms is what we had yesterday morning, and a little bit in the afternoon as well in the Wenatchee Valley. Isolated thunderstorms means some areas can get a lot of rain in a very short period of time, and other areas don't get any rain at all. Up at Pangbourne, we got just about 1/10 of an inch, and it was also only 83 degrees. That was actually below normal, which has not happened in quite some time. Good morning to the valley from our Wenatchee Heights camera. We're going to show you the Badger Mountain camera because we can turn it around and point it towards the Baird's Spring fire, and you're going to look at it and go, it looks pretty quiet to me. And it looks pretty quiet to me. That's the general location of that the Baird Springs fire. Now, the camera's shaking because it's zoomed in a long way, and of course, when you zoom in that far, it is susceptible to shaking. No changes, by the way, on the evacuation notices. We're going to get all that information your way in just a little bit, but that's our Badger Mountain camera turned around, essentially, pointed back out towards the basin near that fire. Let's check out Bear Mountain. There you go. Well, it's not the mountain. That's Lake Chelan. It looks beautiful up there from our Bear Mountain camera. And yeah, I need to jump in the lake. A lot of people have told me to go jump in the lake. As a matter of fact, as we look out at Wapato Point. And finally, the 4th camera to wrap up our tour is Orondo Rock in beautiful Lake Antiat with the Wenatchee Valley way off in the distance. And outside of a little bit of wind, today's weather ain't much to talk about. Now, next week, from the Climate Prediction Center, they issue these on Mondays and they're for the following week. So here's your 6 to 10 day temperature outlook for next week. And as you can see, it is leaning above. We have a better than 50-50 chance, around a 60 to 65% chance of seeing warmer than normal temperatures. And the southwest, which has just been baking for the last 10 days, is going to continue to bake. They're going to be oppressively hot in Phoenix, in Tucson, in Lubbock, El Paso, San Antonio, Houston, Galveston. They're getting cooked, and that heat wave is going to continue. In fact, it's going to enlarge itself and work its way to the northwest. That is for next week. This is July 16th through the 20th. That's your 6 to 10 day temperature outlook for the long term. As far as precipitation is concerned, we are leaning below getting any kind of precipitation. So it's going to be sunny and hot and dry for the foreseeable future. I'm talking about the next couple of weeks. The only thing we're keeping an eye on is could be a little windy today. As that low pressure and that system exits the area, there's going to be some wind behind it. So from the National Weather Service, here we go. Your forecast calls for lots of sunshine, 87 after yesterday's high of 83. It's going to be a little breezy at times today, but not too bad. It'll be windier tonight in the overnight hours, but that's the last of that system. So a little breezy today, a little breezy tonight, 62 for the overnight low. The wind will be dying down as we get through Wednesday into Wednesday night, then very little wind at all to speak of by the time we get to Thursday. Just a nice light, comfortable breeze to cool us down a little bit. And then we have a huge jump in our temperature on Friday. Into the triple digits we go. On Saturday and Sunday, 100 degrees. Haven't quite gotten to 100 yet. We came close, came really close last Sunday. We got to like 97 or 98, but we have not hit triple digits yet this year. Last year at this time, we had already hit 100 about 10 times. We have yet to hit 100 this year. That could very well change by the time we get to the weekend. 6 minutes after the hour, what's going on? A lot. Your news is in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Like most backseat drivers, I'm all about safety. Uh-oh! Les Schwab Tires is too. Because Les Schwab fixes brakes, steering, and more. See those guys? They just do tires. Eyes ahead, Dad! Look, I'm not telling people how to do their job. Blinker, I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first. Watch, they're gonna come greet me.
Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Lots of sunshine, 63 degrees, lots of sunshine today, warming up, a little wind today, tonight, into Wednesday before the wind dies down. Temperatures gradually climbing up the scale to near 100 by Saturday and Sunday. It's 8 minutes after the hour. We're going to show you the live shot that we just showed you from our Badger Mountain camera, pointing out towards the what's called the Baird Springs fire, which broke out about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Some things have changed, as we already mentioned. Close to midnight last night, they reopened State Route 28. State Route 28, that corridor right about the Douglas County, Grant County line near Crescent Bar in Trinidad was closed. It has reopened in both directions, so you can get to Quincy and the Basin on Highway 28. That's good news. All the evacuation notices have remained in effect. The incident command folks are reassessing the conditions as we speak, and we'll see if they lift some of those level 3 evacuations. Again, it broke out about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Here's your evacuation map. You can see Highway 28 where it goes down towards Crescent Bar and then climbs up the Trinidad grade and heads towards Quincy. The level 1 evacuation is that green circle there. There's a level 3 evacuation to the upper part of your screen. And this is very sparsely populated area. Lots of farmland, lots of sage. There are some crops in the area, so level 3 evacuation still remain in effect. We have another map that is considerably larger to show you that area there. That includes the area down towards the Crescent Bar. Again, all the evacuation notices have not changed. They are reassessing them as we speak. And if those level 3 evacuation notices are changed before the show is over, we will let you know. The State Fire Mobilization Office has been sent out as well. Obviously, crews from all over the area are working on this fire. Fire estimates, the size anywhere from 900 to about 2,000 acres. It's burning in sage for the most part, but it is threatening some outlying homes, a few orchards, and a processing warehouse. What caused the fire? Don't know yet. They think it might be lightning. And again, if anything changes on the evacuation levels on this fire, we will let you know. And getting through Highway 2 up north in Douglas County is going to be a tad problematic. They had a very intense and short rainfall yesterday afternoon, and that's what happened. Highway 2 is reduced now to 1 lane with a single lane alternating traffic with a pilot car. A bunch of debris came over the roadway. There's the map. It's the 9-mile stretch between Highway 2 between Farmer. That's where Highway 2 intersects with State Route 172, and then the junction of US 2 and State Route 17. That's the road that goes up towards Jameson Lake area. So that red stretch there, it's about 9 miles long. That is single lane alternating traffic because of a washout on Highway 2 up on the Douglas County area near the Moses Coulee. That's the fact, that's the river that you see there, and we'll see how that pans out. But it will be slow going if you're heading on Highway 2 up north. Other news this morning, Jay Inslee is going to be in our neck of the woods. He's going to be out in Grant County today. They're going to break ground on a sustainable jet fuel production facility. 12 is a climate tech startup. It's based in California, and they'll be kicking off construction on a property in Moses Lake that will work to combine energy and industrial products to make a jet fuel that burns cleaner than standard jet fuel. The e-jet fuel blends with conventional fuel and is compatible with current engine technology, and it creates a 90% reduction in life cycle emissions. Inslee has dubbed Moses Lake the, quote, new Kitty Hawk. In May, he signed legislation that incentivized sustainable aviation fuel production within the state. By the way, while he's out in the Columbia Basin, the governor will also visit the Coyote Ridge Correction Center in Connell and Washington State University's new honeybee and pollinator research extension near Othello. The incumbent mayor of the city of Leavenworth faces 2 primary challengers in the upcoming primary election. One of them is a former chief administrator and city council member. The other is a newcomer to local politics. Our very own Jefferson Robbins spoke with all 3 candidates and asked what's the major challenge facing the Bavarian Village.
One of the main things that I'm concerned about, as one council member recently said, is we've lost our shine. You know, when I was administrator a while back, there was a lot of division when I was hired, residential community versus the business community, and I was fortunate enough to really bridge that gap between the 2 groups and form a real sense of unity, and I see that that is, again, very necessary right now. But we've got downtown business owners that are struggling. And you know, it's one thing to bring people to Leavenworth, it's quite another to bring people back. And that's my concern long term for the vitality of our city, because we rely on tourism to survive.
I'm quite troubled about what I have been seeing for several years now. We have not only are we fractured, but we have an entire community that is quite angry, frustrated. The majority of the community is not being heard, and I have a very significant issue with that. The leaders of the community are not there for themselves. They are there for the majority of the community. The community runs that city, and as it should be. But that's not what's been happening, and it hasn't been happening for a number of years. So we do not have trouble getting community members to city council meetings. We have trouble getting them to come back because they're not heard. We go through the motions and we hear the city saying those words, we want to hear you, your voice is going to be heard, and then they are ignored. Even if the majority has stated their opinion, it's still ignored repeatedly. That needs to stop.
I ran, quite frankly, to keep it a community, and community to me is a diverse, has a workforce, has people that are living there that of all ages, all incomes. That kind of diversity is what makes a community in my mind. And quite frankly, we're threatened to lose that and become only a resort or only a retirement community for the wealthy. It's what happens in a lot of beautiful mountain towns. I'm not willing to see us go that route without a fight, so I got involved to try to keep us a whole community. A lot of the housing that we've created have become second homes, so we were treading water, I guess, in terms of the size for a long time. But so we're 2,500 now, and we've got issues that deal with 10 times that size. So, those are the unique challenges. And like I said, I want to keep us a whole community, so that's a unique challenge. Keeping that balance between a strong business, but also a strong, vibrant residential. So trying to keep that balance in place. And so really focusing on some of the things that'll enhance it for the residents as well.
A person who bought an abandoned storage unit got a little bit of a surprise last Friday, a very unwelcome surprise. They bought the unit, they opened the front door, and something stunk. Some kind of hazardous material. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department says the patron opened the unit about 8:30 on Friday morning, encountered a metallic smell from materials that had been put into the storage unit. Hazmat specialists from Wenatchee, Chelan, and Moses Lake fire agencies arrived to contain and assess, trying to figure out what it was. They said it posed no danger to people in the area. What it was, as a matter of fact, we don't know yet. It wasn't immediately disclosed. The Department of Ecology was called in to do a follow-up assessment and help with the cleanup. Aviation fans turned out in force. A lot of folks, about 3,000 people, showed up on Saturday at Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport for the Festival of Flight. It's a yearly event, shows off classic and contemporary aircraft, including a replica of the Miss V doll. That was there. You probably heard it and saw it flying over the valley if you're out and about on Saturday. Visitors also got to view World War II combat aircraft, and they could sign up for tours of the Wenatchee Valley via helicopter. Some of the craft on display were featured in the movie Devotion. Remember that movie? It was filmed in and around Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport a couple of years ago. The festival is produced through a partnership between the Chelan-Douglas Port Authority and the city of East Wenatchee. Pretty cool indeed. And finally, in a career spanning 5 decades, firefighter Bobby Scopa has worked through everything from city fires to mountain rescues, and now she wants to tell about her experiences as a firefighter who not only served at Ground Zero immediately after 9/11 and served as a team leader during Arizona's Dude Fire in 1990, but also as a transgender person. The Wenatchee River Institute, a book for all seasons, and Wenatchee Pride is going to host Scopa for a Red Barn event in which she will discuss her memoir called Both Sides of the Fire Line that details her professional and personal challenges. The free event will be held next Wednesday, July 19th. It'll be offered both in person and via Zoom, the link of which can be found at the Wenatchee River Institute's website. Doors open at 6:30. The Institute's Red Barn will host it. The presentation will begin at 7 with books available for purchase, and she will autograph them if you so desire, and that's what's making news at 18 minutes after the hour. Boy, we had a busy news day yesterday. We'll see how today pans out. That's the nice thing about this job. No 2 days are the same. The news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10 with Grant in the anchor chair, and Eric handling sports. And if those times don't work for you to watch it on television, you can watch it on the internet, which is catching on. We'll have the news on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and our homepage. And if something out there demands our attention, you best get a hold of us. Best way to do it, email us, news@ncwlife.com. When we come back, highlights from the All-Star Home Run Derby. We're talking Apple Sox baseball as well. When we come back with sports, it's 2 minutes away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Wenatchee Valley. Here, most of us really enjoy the great outdoors, and most of us try to make the most of our natural resources. Here at Apple Valley Honda, we know that for generations, we have harnessed nature to sustainably power the West, and we are proud to be part of that tradition as an environmentally green dealership award winner. Being a green dealership means Apple Valley Honda has reduced our overall environmental impact. We are so proud to live in this wonderful community.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At coldwellbanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At coldwellbanker.com.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
21 minutes after the hour, Julio Rodriguez didn't win the home run derby last night, but he set a record. In fact, he didn't even know about it. The Seattle Mariners center fielder ousted Pete Alonso in the first round of the derby by hitting a record 41 home runs. Julio said it was a lot of fun, but he had no idea he set a record until after the post-derby press conference.
It was electric. It was electric. Just like the fact that we were out here and the whole crowd was into it and they were supporting me, all that. I feel like it meant the world for me. I really enjoyed it, and I hope they enjoyed it too.
Hey, when did you find out that you set a record in the first round?
Did I?
Right now is now when you're finding out?
Yeah.
How do you feel? You set a record for the most home runs in a single round in the Derby.
That's pretty good. I'll take it. That was the opportunity, basically the first opportunity that I had. I wanted to live in the moment and kind of be able to give a show to the Mariners fans and just kind of give my all. And for that second round, I would just, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I feel like your mind is there, but your body is not. That's the best way to explain it. It definitely was really good, you know, just be able to talk with them, talk about baseball. And he told me to catch before the derby. He told me to catch the ball a little bit out front, and that's what I did in that first round. I'm really excited because I know they're gonna keep bringing the energy, and I know how this fan base is. So I'm excited to see them again tomorrow.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ended up beating Julio in the semifinals, eventually won the Derby. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. matching his dad's efforts, who won the title back in 2007. The All-Star Game is tonight, 93rd All-Star Game. Julio Rodriguez, Luis Castillo, and George Kirby represent the Mariners tonight. It'll be televised on Fox. It starts at 5 o'clock. Wenatchee Apple Sox heading north of the border begin a 6-game road trip in league play tonight. Wenatchee will send Quincy Vassar to the mound in Nanaimo tonight against the Night Owls. The Apple Sox own the best record in the North Division right now. Nanaimo was off to a hot start in the second half. I had a chance to sit down, or actually stand up, with their good buddies Storm and Joel Norman yesterday before the team headed out of town. Wenatchee Apple Sox 6 games in Canada, 3 in Nanaimo beginning tonight. 3 in Victoria following this. It's a critical road trip for an Apple Sox team, Joel Norman, that is, all things considered, after the weekend sweep, playing pretty good baseball.
Best record in the West Coast League. Just unfortunately not able to get that first half playoff spot. But, you know, season ends today. If the Apple Sox were to advance to the North Division Championship game, they'd have home field. And I think that's been the big motivation that the coaching staff has talked about, where, you know, you're not going to get the top seed in the first round, but you can have home field advantage in the second round if you have the best overall record compared to everyone else in your division. So a lot of meaningful baseball to be played ahead. Frankly, this team hasn't accomplished anything yet, and there's a lot of work to be done, but there's a lot to be smiling and happy about.
Ironically enough, even though they didn't win the first half title, they now have the best record in the WCL North, because I think maybe what happened in Port Angeles last week kind of maybe put a little fire under their rear ends, because they came right out and showed their mettle on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I think sometimes you need a reminder, just to be humbled, something like that, grounded a little bit, and maybe that's what that series in Port Angeles was. You know, Dan, I think it's cliche to say it, but I'm watching those games, and I didn't feel like at any point either one of those the Sox were going to lose, and that's baseball. You're not going to win every single night. You can have these long win streaks here and there, but eventually you're going to get humbled and you're going to lose some games you don't think you should. And I think that's how we felt about Port Angeles. And then it was about channeling that frustration and taking it out over the weekend against Kamloops, because maybe part of that's due to because Kamloops could have helped the Apple Sox get into the playoffs. Now I'm thinking about it too. If they had beaten Bellingham once, Wenatchee wins the first half. So maybe some of that frustration was channeled in the right way then.
We're going to lose our big power-hitting first baseman. He's already gone. He's heading home. Easton Edmondson, so there goes 7. He led the league in home runs with 7, near the top in RBIs. That's a big bat that's disappearing. He deserves a break. I'm all for it. I get it. Yeah. He needs to go home and take a rest from baseball. What's going to happen with our first base position and all that offense going away?
Yeah, for starters, you know, an incredible season for Easton Edmondson, tied for 3rd in a single season in Apple Sox history in home runs with 7. You know, he'd hit a slump in recent weeks, though, and I think when you see guys dramatically drop off the way that he did, it's not at all meant to be, you know, distasteful to say, but I think that's a time where you say, let's shut him down. That's the right call. He's tired. He played a lot this spring. He started school at the beginning of August. Go see your family, get some time off. And yeah, there's no doubt about it. We're losing our number 3 hitter and our most played position player to this point, but you know, he'd had a couple of tough weeks, Dan. So I think it's a good time to really give him a break here, let him shut it down, and also see some other guys. You know, I think fans really haven't gotten a full look at MJ Sweeney yet. This is the son of Mike Sweeney. If you're a Mariners fan or if a baseball fan from the 90s and 2000s, you should know who that is. And this kid is incredible. He's an incoming freshman at Texas, 6'6", Dan. You know, I mean, we've seen him hit a home run in non-league play. I'm going to bet he's going to hit a couple here in league play coming up, because he's got the right swing. Once he feels like he gets the timing with the pitches, he's going to really start to cash in.
Nanaimo is the hottest team in the league. They've won 6 in a row going into tonight's game with the Apple Sox. Give us a quick little, before we cut you loose, give us a quick little scouting report on Nanaimo.
Oh, real good ball club. They're flying under the radar right now. They're winning games I think people were surprised by after the year they had last year, but it's such a good story for the West Coast League, because it's one thing to have a good expansion season, but it's another to build off of having a tough first year and then come out that second year and maybe surprise some people so much. So such a great story. They're going to be a tough opponent this week. You know, we're going to be some returning players from last year, but you know, a lot of times you don't really know what you're getting into that first time, because you know, teams change their roster so much. So I'm curious to see what they present, because I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was last year when the Sox came in and pretty much had their way with the bats.
Apple Sox in Nanaimo tonight, tomorrow, and the following day, and then 3 in Victoria before they come home for 12 home games in 15 days. First pitch tonight at 6:35, and you can listen to Joel on the call on Sunny FM. And my complete conversation with Joel and Quincy Vassar will be airing on tomorrow morning's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Just one score, by the way, in West Coast League. It was a non-league game. Andy Miller, 2 for 4, a couple of runs, a couple of RBIs. Springfield beats the Cascade Collegiate Showcase team. The final was 11-1. The standings in the second half of the West Coast League's North Division is Nanaimo. They're off to a 4-0 start in the second half. Wenatchee a game back at 3-1. Victoria and Kelowna both a game and a half back. They're 4-3. Port Angeles 2 games back at 2-2. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this, what is today, the 11th day of July? I couldn't even remember what the year was at the start of the show. I could have chosen World Population Day. By the way, about 8 billion folks live here now on the planet. It's National Blueberry Muffin Day. It's National 7-Eleven Day because it's 7-Eleven. You get it? National Mojito Day, not for me, I'm working. It's Cow Appreciation Day. But no, today we celebrate one of the big money crops around here, that thing, the Rainier cherry, invented in 1952 by Harry Fogel of Washington State University. He crossbred Bing cherries with Van cherries and came up with the Rainier, named after, not surprisingly, Mount Rainier. It is considered one of the premium cherries. Rainier cherries on the foreign market and in places around the United States where cherries are not easily obtainable, they go for a premium price. So it's a crop that a lot of cherry growers like to grow. It's also the first one off the tree pretty much every year. They come off the tree earlier than other cherry varieties. They're good for you. Vitamin A, vitamin C, potassium, you gotta love that. They're also very sweet. If you like your cherries sweet, Rainier is the way to go. And again, they go for big bucks compared to other types of cherries. So now you know that's what a Rainier cherry looks like, and they taste really good. Happy National Rainier Cherry Day today. Celebrating its, 71st birthday. It is the bottom of the hour. Today in the history, bad day for Al Hamilton. Ooh. It's hard to believe that a vice president shot somebody. Well, wait a minute, Dick Cheney did that. That's right, I forgot about that. The famous duel in Weehawken, New Jersey. The vice president of the United States, Aaron Burr, shoots Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton died, which must have been a painful death the next day. Dueling had been prohibited in New York and in New Jersey. In New York, they enforced it. In New Jersey, they didn't. So they all hopped in a boat and they went across the Hudson River to Weehawken and did at it. So political ramifications, well, Aaron Burr kind of got away with it. Charges were filed. They were either dropped or he was acquitted from various charges. And he went back to work as vice president. He went into hiding for a couple of months. Alexander Hamilton met his maker and was buried in the Trinity Church in Midtown Manhattan. So you're not supposed to shoot somebody, especially if you're the vice president. And now it's happened twice. First time 219 years ago today. 109 years ago today, George Herman Babe Ruth makes his Major League Baseball debut. He strikes out in the first inning, but he was the starting pitcher for the Red Sox, and they beat Cleveland. The final there was 4-3. He didn't get any base hits, didn't hit a home run, but Babe Ruth arrived, and it was, in fact, big news. Babe Ruth played his very first Major League Baseball game 109 years ago today. 63 years ago today, on this date in 1960, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is first published. Of course, it was her only published book until Go Set a Watchman, which was an earlier draft of To Kill a Mockingbird, was published about 8 years ago. This is still high up on the list of the most challenged books in school libraries in the state of Virginia. In a school library, you can't even check it out. You have to get your parents' permission to check out To Kill a Mockingbird, which of course was required reading for me when I was a kid. Can't remember what grade it was, but everybody read To Kill a Mockingbird, and then you had to talk about it, and I'm glad I did, and I've read the book 3 or 4 times since then. You could go to the bookstore and buy To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee on this date in 1960. Summer of '79, I remember this. Skylab is going to fall. Skylab, our first space station, is going to come out of orbit and it's going to crash somewhere on the planet. This was big news. My favorite was you could buy Skylab repellent with a money-back guarantee, and this was good entrepreneurship because the guys who promoted it, it was just an aerosol can of nothing, Skylab repellent. You spray it on you and you won't get hit by Skylab when it falls out of the sky. It came with a money-back guarantee. So if you bought it and kept the receipt and you didn't get hit by Skylab, if you sent the can back, you get your money back. Only the idea was people aren't going to send the can back. They're going to keep it as a souvenir. Guys made a lot of money. Smart move on that. T-shirts with bullseyes. Okay, it was big news, big thing news. It finally did fall out on this date, July 11th, 1979. And if you're going to have a spaceship fall out of the sky, you want to fall it in a place where nobody's around, and it did. It fell in Western Australia, one of the most sparsely populated places on Earth. The San Francisco Examiner offered $10,000 for the first piece of Skylab delivered to their offices in San Francisco. Stan Thornton found 24 pieces of Skylab on his property in Western Australia, but he couldn't afford to get to San Francisco from Perth. So a businessman from Philadelphia bought his plane tickets for himself, his girlfriend, his parents, and he flew them from Perth to San Francisco. He collected the $10,000 prize, and the businessman gave him an extra $1,000 just for the heck of it. So it was big back in '79. A lot of things were big back in '79. And finally, 41 years ago today, the 1982 Cincinnati Reds sucked. They were terrible. They were in last place. It was the All-Star break, and the Cincinnati Enquirer ran a contest where their readers could submit the exact date and time that the Cincinnati Reds would be eliminated from playoff contention. First prize, 2 tickets to the last home game of the year for the Reds. That was the grand prize. 2 tickets to the last game of the year at Riverfront Stadium. Second prize, 4 tickets to the last game of the year at Riverfront Stadium. One birthday, a heavenly birthday, an historic birthday. We always do presidents. John Quincy Adams, 6th President of the United States, born in the state in 1767. I think he was pretty much fated to be president. Of course, his dad was the 2nd President of the United States. He was an aide to his father, very accomplished guy. A lot of historians think he may have been the actual smartest president ever. His IQ was 165. That's 164 more than mine. He was 2nd in his class at Harvard. He was a diplomat to Holland. He was the very first U.S. ambassador to Russia. He was a senator. He was the Secretary of State to James Monroe. He's the guy who actually wrote the Monroe Doctrine. Of course, in the election of 1824, between him and Andrew Jackson, it actually went all the way to the House of Representatives, even though John Quincy Adams lost the electoral vote and the popular vote. He didn't get a majority, and eventually the House elected him. While he was president, he used to get his exercise by swimming naked in the Potomac. He would get up at dawn, go down, take off all of his clothes, and swim in the Potomac River. One enterprising journalist found out about this, and he kept refusing to do an interview with her until one time she followed him down, and then she took his clothes and said, "I'm not giving your clothes back, Mr. President, until you give me an interview." So he did. And of course, rather than retiring from public service, after he lost re-election, he was elected to the United States House of Representatives, and he would serve from 1831 to 1848. He is the only president to be elected to the House after office. John Quincy Adams. 36 minutes after the hour. Mike Magnotti's got an opinion. Just because he thinks one thing doesn't necessarily mean he has to think the other thing. That's the topic. Now I'm confused. And then Dave Tosh, the executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. It's hopping, baby, and if you want a good lunch at a cheap price, Dave's going to tell you all about it when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local event broadcasts. JDSA Law has been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, your risks, and your accomplishments. JDSA Law supports the TV broadcasts of these local community events.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
I had a seizure in the middle of the night, and they rushed me to the hospital and decided to induce labor to try to get the baby out. outpouring of love and support I got from Confluence Health. My coworkers coming to the ICU to be with me. For me, it's the work family. It's just incredible to have support no matter what I'm going through in my personal life, my own health.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday Brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain, so come join the party. A break from reality. Central Washington Water has a showroom full of possibilities. They have the perfect hot tub for any space and any budget, including saltwater hot tubs for the absolute best ownership experience. Find free-flow plug-and-play spas that make it simple and affordable to get you soaking. Tropatone furniture to complete your patio. Make summer a splash with a high-quality, easy-to-set-up above-ground pool with pumps and filters from Central Washington Water, your water experts.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, here's something that drives me nuts about Trumpite Republicans. You know, when I say I don't like Trump, they come back with stuff like, yeah, well, Biden's a terrible president, and Inslee's a jerk, and the Democrats hate America, yada, yada, yada. And this is all said aggressively as if I, and I alone, am responsible for the current state of our federal and local state administration. Now, my gripe is this. What makes these people think, and you know who you are, what makes you think that just because I don't like Trump, I therefore like Biden at all? Well, yeah, I don't like Trump, and I don't much like Biden either, to tell you the truth. Political opinions are not an either or situation. Just because we have a limited two-party system doesn't mean any of us have to have a limited two-option opinion. So cut me some slack. This is Mike, Mad Dog McNutty, and that's my opinion.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new midsize Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Well, looks like our surgery patient is feeling better today.
Yep, I didn't need any oxy today. I thought I'd do a little surgery on the drain.
Huh. Do you need your pain pills anymore?
No.
Well, we should get them out of the house. There are places to drop them off.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I can do that right now.
And I will look at the drain.
Prevent opioid misuse. Find safe medication return options near you at med-project.org.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35 plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today. Green Motion E-Bikes is rolling out its new line of Aventon e-bikes. Come in today and save $300 on the top-selling Aventon Adventure. Green Motion is Central Washington's home for affordable e-bikes, located in the Mills Brothers building in downtown Wenatchee.
It has really been a great partnership between Succession and NCW Life. It's not always easy to sit in front of a camera or a microphone, but you guys have made it a really nice process.
Welcome back to the program. I swear, like a year ago, I deleted Dave Tosh's contact from my cell phone number. So imagine my surprise a couple of weeks ago when I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Hey, Dan, we got some great things going on down here. Come on down and pay us a visit. We'd love to have you back. And I said, sure. And then I realized like 2 minutes later, it was Dave Tosh. So here I am. It's my buddy Dave Tosh, the executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activities Center. It's been a long time, my friend.
It has, and you know, we've been opening, well, about a year now, a little over a year. The lunch program opened up, and we got some other things open. The thrift store had been opened all along. Pretty much, we had only closed for a couple months during COVID, but COVID has had a significant impact on seniors, the population we serve.
More than almost any other demographic, the senior citizen population was greatly affected by COVID.
And a lot of people have changed their habits, their routines, so many things, and we're trying to make adjustments as we go to suit their needs and give them a good service and a good lunch.
Let's start with the gift shop. Last time we visited you was over the holidays when you had your big wing day, and that's always a huge event for this organization.
One of our biggest fundraisers of the year is our holiday gift fair, usually right around Veterans Day. It's always on a Saturday, a one-day event, and that'll be coming up again. We just had a great fundraiser, our crab feed. We hadn't had a crab feed in 4 years. Crab was excellent. Everybody raved about how much fun it was and how great the food was.
And affordable.
And so we're going to be doing 2 of those next year, just because of the success. So there are things that are really working well for us. Obviously, being independent and self-sustaining, we got to figure it out on our own as to where all our resources come from. But between the store and some of those fundraising events that we're doing, we're getting back to some sense of normal.
But being an independent, self-sustaining organization also has its advantages. Not a lot of people above you pulling strings telling you what you can and can't do from a governmental standpoint.
I've been here for 10 years.
Right. I mean, there's some good advantages to that.
Absolutely.
Right.
No, it is. And it's just that, you know, we weren't anticipating something like a COVID event to really affect us like it did. And yeah, we're still trying to make adjustments. And the lunch program is a great example of what we're trying to do, and we just made some significant changes.
And before we get to that, one more little shout out to our buddy Russ Allman. You brought him on board last week. He's going to be handling your website, your social media. He knows what he's doing. He's a good guy, which is great, because I have a feeling I don't want to cast aspersions on you, Dave, but you probably still have an 8-track player in your 1973 AMC Matador, so you and social media probably isn't the best setup there. So you brought in somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and of course Russ have been doing those videos that everybody in town can watch those videos on NCW Life that we took over the last 3 or 4 years. Russ did all that. He edited all of that material, and you'll see a lot of repeats and replays, but that was one of the ways we stayed in touch with the senior community while we were closed, and also just telling people what it is we do here. A lot of people still aren't sure what we do here.
Well, one thing that they do here is they serve lunch, and it's open to anybody who has $5 sitting around in their pocket. Talk about this, $5.
Yeah.
What's this all about, Dave? Have you lost your mind?
Well,
what's happening here?
We again are making adjustments to what we started with a year ago. We came up with a $7 lunch, and our concern was the cost of food going up a lot. Things have calmed down a little bit with regard to that, and we feel like $5 is a great deal. It'll get more people out here. You know, it's like everything else, volume helps, and the more people we get out here to lunch is going to help us in the long run. The $5 is a great price. It's a round number. Everybody can remember that. And we're going to have desserts. We've got an AmeriCorps young lady that's going to be doing desserts for us.
That's new. You didn't have lunch. You didn't have dessert for lunch before.
Right. We're adding that, and we're going to have a lot of fresh salad and fresh vegetables. We're going to do a lot more of that. Obviously, the summertime helps with that, but you know, now's the time to try out some new ideas and just see if we can't get the lunch back to the way we had it before.
The only catch is you got to RSVP in advance. That's so they need to know how much food to make, and that's critically important.
Yep. Well, we ask that, you know, the day before, by 1 o'clock, so we get our numbers straight for the next day. But there are alternatives. You know, you can come out, if you're coming here regularly, we'll give you a copy of our menu for the month. You circle the days you want to come. You put your name on it. We make a copy so you can take it home and keep track of what you told us. We ask that you try and cancel if you can't make it a particular day. But that's the easiest way. Then you got a reservation in the system for a month, and you don't have to really think about making the reservation. I know some people say, well, I don't come to lunch because I can never remember to make a reservation. Well, okay, but we still need to know what our head counts are. Sure. Otherwise, we have a lot of waste, and we try to manage that. So.
And it's all on the website, by the way, too, I might add, including the menu. It's Thursday as we tape this, so it's meatloaf day today. Tomorrow is pizza, I believe.
Yep.
So you're very consistent with that.
Yeah. And they can make a reservation on the website now. Russ Albin, again, is a key part of getting technology embedded in some of our systems here. We're dealing with more baby boomers who are more familiar with the technology than it was 10 years ago. And we're trying to make sure that we utilize devices and tools that people can make their life a little simpler.
And we can't stress this enough, it's open to anybody. You don't have to be a member of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. You don't have to have a membership card. You don't have to do anything. Just RSVP and show up with your $5 and it's lunch. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good lunch too, by the way.
Yeah, and it's a well-balanced meal. We serve everything that you know, supplies a nutritious meal. A lot of people come here just because that's their main meal of the day, and then they don't have to do so much in the evening. And that makes sense for a lot of seniors.
And as you might imagine, it's a bit of a social activity, as you can see and hear behind us. A lot of people are regulars, of course. They come on a regular basis. Yeah. And other people come in for a couple of times. Hey, that's Mr. Jones, and that's Bob Smith, and that's Janet.
The social aspect is huge with our lunch program. It always has been. And it's not that people need to come here because they're in need of a meal, although we welcome whoever wants to come in. I would just say that the social part of it is a big deal. And so a lot of people will come in, they haven't been in here ever, and they'll see people that they know, and they sit down and they renew acquaintances and have a good time. And that's what you know, we're trying to promote that. And then, you know, you can stay afterwards and exercise and work that meal off too. So
that's true.
We have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, talk about some of the programs, because again, during COVID, when this place was eventually shuttered. In fact, I remember coming in here when it was during COVID and it was all closed down. I was depressing as hell. The blinds were drawn, the furniture was stacked up. The programs are back, all the different things that people can do.
And what we're seeing is a lot of interest in exercise. And we offer 5 different sale programs in any one week. That's Stay Active and Independent for Life. There's a lot of those conducted in our valley.
And again, those are televised on the NCW Life channel.
And we've got those broadcast. We have line dancing Monday and Friday mornings. That's been a huge success. We still have more room, though. I mean, I know the word kind of got out there that we were crowded and over capacity and all that. We're managing that, so don't hesitate to come out and check us out. And you can just sit and watch them. You know, you don't have to participate. You can kind of figure out and gauge what it is you're interested in and then participate. But Tai Chi, yoga, we have some strength training yoga. And then, of course, we have our weekend dances, and there's exercise involved with that, and it's live music every other Sunday. And they can find all the information in our newsletter, which you will receive if you're a member, $35 a person a year, $55 for a couple. You get a newsletter in the mail, or check us out on the website.
Why do you charge so less? I mean, it's not very much to become a member here. I mean, if you could jack up your membership prices. I don't think too many people complain.
Well, that's a Dave Tosh thing that we kind of like keeping things the way they are and the way they've been, and we do tend to get a little pushback when we make changes in pricing, and I think it's just a good deal for people to realize that, you know what, I can go there and it doesn't wreck my budget, and we want people to come. We want people to come in and enjoy what we offer with our activities. And
every time I come see Dave, Dave is almost 65. He's almost retirement age now, you know. And he goes, I don't know, I think maybe another year. You know, he's past retirement age, and every year you're still here. you obviously like. You don't have to work anymore, Dave.
Well, I'm
But you're
probably
here.
kind of like the Kuntz family. I grew up in the Valley. This is my family. The Valley, I know so many people. Growing up in Kashmir, it's unbelievable how many people I've crossed paths with that I hadn't seen in years. And it makes it fun for me that way. And that's why I'm still here, is because I still think I'm having fun. My staff may not think so sometimes. We do have a lot of challenges. We're very busy, but you know what? It's a great place. And I feel good about what we do and what we offer.
Dave eats a lot of cold lunches here, and by that I mean he goes into the cafeteria, Jay gives him his lunch, and he puts it down, and then Dave makes the rounds, and by the time he's visiting with people, his lunch is cold, and you're eating it at your desk. You probably do that on a regular basis.
Well, we're having meatloaf today. You know, cold meatloaf on a slice of bread's pretty good. So, you know, I'm not real picky about all that. But
how do people help you out, Dave, before we cut you loose, besides come down here and have lunch? Is lunch 5 days a week, or is it 4 days?
Actually, we're Tuesday through Friday. It's 4 days a week.
No lunch on Monday.
We serve right at noon, and we ask that people arrive here promptly so we can cut our volunteers a break. Jay, you mentioned Jay Young. He has to wash the dishes. We try to get him home in a reasonable hour, and that's why we have a set time. And then, of course, the exercise folks start coming in. We don't push people out of here, though. If people want to linger and visit with their friends, that's perfectly fine. And don't think that we're going to throw anybody out of here because you've been here too long. That's part of what we offer. There's a social engagement. Yeah. So we do need volunteers all the time. That's another way people can help. If you're interested in volunteering, give us a call. Come out, talk to us, pick up an application, volunteer application. We'll get back to you. But we've had a lot of success with some really good volunteers right after we reopened last year. I think people want to get out and do things, get out of the house, and that's one way you can really help us. Yeah.
And you'll make a whole bunch of new friends, I can guarantee you that, because nobody behind us is frowning. For one thing, it's lunchtime. Dave Tosh, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. New website, too. I like it. I like what Russ has done. Very accessible. Good for folks. Very easy.
WenatcheeSeniorCenter.com.
It's as simple as that. Dave, it's good to see you. What do you say we go have some lunch?
Yeah, let's go have lunch.
Let's go have lunch.
All right.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, late for a meeting.
Hey, we need to build a home office.
We're adding another bathroom.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think I'll sell my veggies at the market.
You even remember to water the house plants. I do this?
You can do this. Hey, we need to build a home office.
We're adding another bathroom.
I think I'll study programming. Bro, you even connect your phone to Bluetooth.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
All right, a couple minutes to go in this program. No new news from the Baird Springs fire. The evacuations levels that were issued yesterday afternoon when the fire broke out remains in effect, although Highway 28 is reopened. They reopened the highway just before midnight, so you can get out to the Columbia Basin on Highway 28 from the Wenatchee Valley through the Trinidad and Crescent Bar area. That's good news. However, not so much good news for you people up on the plateau. We showed you the photo of this washout after that very intense rainstorm. This is Highway 2 at about milepost 169, 170. Originally, they had it reduced to one lane alternating traffic with a pilot car. That's the red stretch there. They have since now closed it altogether. There's about a mile and a half long stretch of that highway that, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, is the actual structural integrity of the highway and the guardrail has been undermined by the huge amount of water that flooded over the roadway in a very short period of time. So now it's closed altogether. Milepost 169 to about milepost 170 and a half is now completely closed. You can't get through that. And the Douglas County Sheriff's Office says it may be closed for quite some time. It may take a while to get that fixed. In the meantime, your forecast, sunny and a little breezy today with a high of 87 degrees, 62 for the overnight low. We do it all over again on Wednesday. Pretty much a repeat of today, 87 for the afternoon high. Then we start climbing up to close to 90 by Thursday, well into the 90s by Friday, and we will see triple digits, they tell us, by the time we get to the weekend. But that's then. This is now. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
In this very special edition of Small Town Big Deal, we honor the courage, self-sacrifice, and devotion of every man and woman who has ever worn the uniform of our great nation.
And we want to thank our partner, Bad Boy Mowers, for being the inaugural sponsor of this special and for honoring and paying tribute to all of those who have defended our country and our freedoms time and time again.
And we want to thank you as we express a nation's gratitude in a salute to veterans.
Bad Boy Mowers.